What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the very first episode of the Mike Sieben Show. So, I wanted to create this show and I wanted to create a platform where I could just have conversations, where I didn't have to make videos that were all centered around one really specific topic or talking about some sort of tip, trick, secret, etc. So my goal with this is to continually make these episodes, and these episodes are going to be a mixture of myself talking about my experiences, things that are going on in my life, in my world, in my businesses, as well as in the future. I'm also going to bring on guests that are experts and just people of influence within my different business spaces. So, for this very first interview, let me introduce myself. If this is the first time that we are connecting, let me tell you a little bit about myself. Let's talk about what's going on in my life. And let's tell you exactly why you should continue to listen and why you should care what I have to say. So, first, let me start by saying I am nobody special. At the end of the day, I'm not more well off in terms of my background and where I came from. I'm not any smarter, and truly, I don't think I'm better than absolutely anyone. But I do think that I have a unique perspective. I do think that I am able to share some insights, and whenever it comes to being interested in the same things that I'm interested in, which we're going to unpack on the show, when it comes to selling physical products online, which is my main business, I have some great insights on that with nearly 4 years of experience, multiple seven figures sold on the Amazon platform specifically. And also at this point, I've helped a couple thousand people get education and actually get started with selling physical products on Amazon themselves as well. So, if that's of any interest to you whatsoever, definitely stay tuned, stick in for this journey. Make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, and I think we can absolutely have a lot of fun with it. All right, so diving right into it, I think first and foremost, let me just introduce myself once more. My name is Mike Sieben. Again, I've been selling on the Amazon platform for a little over 4 years. We've done a couple seven figures of sales at this point. So while I'm definitely not the largest seller out there, I do kind of have it figured out to a point where I know that this is a repeatable process, and I'm definitely able to help and show other people how to do that as well. Talking a little bit about me right now, we'll take a little bit of a look at my past as well. So, right now, I live in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. At the time of filming this, it's January. It's super freaking cold here right now. I'm actually very excited about going on a little bit of a family vacation out to Phoenix, Arizona tomorrow, actually, at time of recording. So, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to just getting away from this nasty weather. My life, everything about me, I am happily married to my wife, Alexis. We've been married since December of 2019. We've been together for 13 years at this point. This December will be 13 years. So it's been an absolutely crazy journey. She's seen me through all my best, all my worst. We're high school sweethearts, so we got together. I believe I was 16. She was 15 years old at that point. So we really grew into the people that we are here today. And we've really just supported each other, and she's absolute my biggest fan. So I hold her in the highest regard, and she's just been such a huge contributing factor to my success up until this point. And I know she's going to continue to be my biggest cheerleader, continue to be there and support me. So forever grateful for that, forever grateful for her and helping me to really become the man and business owner and everything else that I am, son, brother, etc. that you see here today. So extremely grateful for her. We recently bought our first house. We lived in a condo before that, which we purchased, and then just last year in 2021, actually, we purchased our first home, and the home we're probably going to stay at for a number of years. And again, that's in Edmonton, Alberta. We're both born and raised here. So kind of all settled in. Businesses are absolutely going, thriving, everything like that at this point. So that's a little bit about me and where I'm at right now. Let's talk a little bit about my past, my history, how I kind of got to where I am today. In the past, I worked a number of different careers, we'll call them, not even really jobs. Everyone has lots of jobs, but my first real career, I went to college and actually did an apprenticeship and got a trade. So I worked in machining and I just made cool stuff out of metal, essentially. A lot of oil field and pumps and things like that, all kind of related to the oil field. That's a massive industry here in Alberta, in Canada, and where, quite frankly, a lot of the economic stimulus comes from. So I landed a job there. I worked in that profession for about 5 years, got my full apprenticeship, became a journeyman, as it's known here, meaning I'm fully certified in the trade, can go work myself, can actually work anywhere in Canada and overseas with my certification. But I knew at that point in time that I wanted more out of my life, right? And there's absolutely, don't get me wrong here, absolutely nothing wrong with people in the trades. In fact, I respect the heck out of you. They're absolutely every single trade that's out there is needed, is an integral part of our society. And so for me, going through that experience, but looking around and knowing that's not what I wanted for myself, knowing that I wanted something different, I actually decided to go back to school. So I went back to school and I got certified in engineering. So I worked in mechanical engineering, went back to school for a number of years, came out and worked in engineering for about 5 years total as well. And what engineering taught me is analytical thinking, planning for the future, following a proven framework. There's one saying in engineering, it's don't reinvent the wheel. Everything that you do in engineering is based off of principles that other physicists, engineers, scientists, data scientists, whoever have already created, and you're applying critical thinking and problem solving skills to different problems using proved equations, right? So that's one massive thing I learned in engineering, which actually benefits me almost every single day of my professional business career now, because the ability to critically think, creatively think, but also do that within the confines of a proven structure, of a system or structure or foundation that's previously been built by someone else, and being able to work within the confines of that is one of the best ways to find success personally and in business, in my opinion. So everything that I've done in the past and all the experience that I have has really lent itself extremely well to what I'm doing here today. I'm glad that I went to school. I'm glad I got the college experience. I'm glad that I got the corporate experience of working in an office and really being exposed to the type of working and office environment and the work that I knew that I didn't really want to do. I was passionate for engineering, passionate for design, passionate for the problem solving that is involved with that. But one thing I was not passionate about was really the ability to never make more than the person who's senior to you, right? And I knew that if I wanted to make serious money, I would have to either work my way to the top of a company, convince them into ownership, partial ownership of that business, or go and start my own engineering firm. And that wasn't that exciting to me. That wasn't really an industry that got me overly excited. I knew what scalability issues there would be. You're always concerned when there's governmental changes and different grant and subsidy programs come and go all the time. And so it wasn't something that I saw a real long-term viability in. Don't get me wrong, there's obviously very successful engineering companies out there, but I knew that both this path would take a very long time, as the industry is extremely traditional. And you thought that there was an old man's club in other areas of the world, other industries, right? Engineering is one of the worst. So also not an environment that I was overly comfortable being in. And also those people in power basically made you kind of earn that right to passage, right? You had to be there for X amount of years and achieve X through the different projects that you've worked in. And you kind of really had to earn your way in, which I'm not necessarily against, but I am against when there is long time limits on that, right? If you can gain the experience and you can actually go through and achieve the things that people senior to you are achieving, there's no reason why you shouldn't be fairly compensated for that. And there's no reason why it needs to take you X amount of years to achieve the type of financial and career progression that you ultimately crave, right? So at the end of the day, I knew that that wasn't a fit. So I packed up. I knew the things that I had learned. I knew the value that the different companies had given me over my previous two careers. And actually, I went over 2 years working on this Amazon business that I have right now, selling the physical goods on Amazon before I actually decided to step away. Right. So this isn't another crazy story of a high school dropout, 17 years old, risked, the $500 he had to his name and became a multi-millionaire overnight success story that you hear all over social media. This is more real. This is more raw. What I felt at the time and what I do feel now the right way. And so I just want to share that journey and that story with you. And through this show, we're going to continue to hear from me and other people on how they did it, how they made it, and ultimately the progression that I'm going to go through and that they've gone through too. So hope it's entertaining. I hope it's something that you look forward to, and I hope that it's something that you want to come back to, because I know that me talking about my journey, what I've went through and sharing kind of in real time the different things that I'm going through has always been a point of pride that I've had, and I've not done as good of a job of it as I wanted to. So this show is one of my ways that I'm going to come through and be able to share a lot of that with you guys. And I know whenever I was looking to other people for inspiration, whether they were coaches or mentors to me, or just people that I looked up to, on social media, different podcasts I listened to, different shows on different social media platforms, I always really appreciated the honesty, the transparency, and also hearing the story behind it as well. Right. And so really getting back to my story that leads us through the gap of where I was at and where I am now is I realized that in that moment and where I was at, and I was building this little side business, this small little Amazon business. I realized that, hey, this could really be something. This could potentially be my full-time career, right? And it felt really crazy because I truly started it with the intention of earning some additional side income, right? I knew that, hey, if I could make an additional two, three, $4,000 a month, that would put me in a really good position where I could afford the things I want. I could take care of my family and my future family, and I could be in a really comfortable financial position where I didn't have to worry, right? I didn't have to worry about recessions and inflation and the rising cost of everything. I wouldn't have to worry that my financial future was uncertain, right? Because I now had multiple streams of income. And I had, even if one of those things went away, I lost my job, my Amazon business got shut down, whatever the case may be, I would still have the other to rely on. So that was always really my goal whenever I started this. And then I just realized that how quickly something can grow and how quickly you can actually make something real of it is insane. It's crazy. And 50 years ago, before the internet, we would have never had these opportunities, but the opportunities that have been created by companies like Amazon and other leaders out in the technological world have made this a real possibility. So I got to a point where I was continually earning more and more and more through the Amazon business, working with a partner who's still my partner to this day, Nick, who you'll meet, you'll learn about through the show a little bit more as well. But we really looked at each other and said, hey, like this could be our full-time thing. Why don't we figure out what it's going to take in order to make this leap, right? How can we make the leap, jump forward, get rid of the full-time responsibilities that we have to these other companies that we're progressing in way too slowly and in our opinions making too little money. Why don't we build something for ourselves for real? Why don't we make this a real business? So that's exactly what we did. I actually had ended up leaving my job after my vacation. It was a post-COVID honeymoon, if you will. So we waited about a year and a half after we got married or so, almost 2 years, in order to go to our quote unquote honeymoon, if you can even call it that, if it's that late. And so I felt like that was the prime time, right? I had a conversation with my boss and I was like, hey, full transparency here. I'm giving you a couple weeks notice. This vacation I'm going on is coming up, as you know, something we've been wanting to do for a long time. You also know, because I've talked about it, I have this little Amazon business. I have this Amazon business that we're doing, $30,000, $40,000 a month in. And I want to be able to dedicate the time and effort into this business so that I can be in a position where I can really see what I can do, what I'm really capable of. And I know being in this position, being in this role is holding me back from what I'm capable of and what I think I was born to do, which is to be an entrepreneur, to be a business owner. And so here's my notice, right? Give them 2 weeks before the vacation, I think it was. And you've been good to me. Things have been good here, but we went our separate ways. And guess what? They were very understanding of it, right? I even got comments from different managers and bosses like, yeah, we knew, or even coworkers, we knew this was gonna come. Like we knew that the way you talk about this, the passion that you have for it, and really who you are as a person, we knew you weren't going to stick around here. We knew that you didn't want to be capped at a certain level and you wanted the ability to really grow out of your own shell and call the shots at the end of the day, right? Be in charge of your own financial future and success. And so it was an amicable breakup. Went on the vacation. That feeling, man, I will tell you, if anybody has quit a job to move on to something better, whether it's your own business that you finally moved away from your job for, like me, or you just moved on from one job to something you're more excited about, a better job, whatever it might be, right? Maybe you had a baby and you left your job to go take care of your baby. I would imagine that it's a very similar feeling, right? It was almost like a weight off the shoulders, right? A solidification of you doing exactly what you should be doing. That's how I felt, right? And it was really helpful that we went on this beautiful Hawaiian vacation that we were able to go for. So we just had 10 days of a little bit of working, prepping, planning, relaxation, just this awesome little time. And then we got back and I just hit the ground running, right? I got back. The first couple of days were so weird to not, check into an office or check into to your team and meet with these people. It was literally just me at home alone. We had no employees whatsoever. Nick was still working a full-time job when I first left. So I came home and I just got after it. And the first week was super weird, like I said. But as time went, right, as I got into this role, it just felt so right. And I remember having the thoughts and even the conversation with myself and saying, like, did I make the right decision? Do I regret this? You know how we all just kind of overthink things. Still to this day, I know it was the right decision. It's probably the best decision that I've ever made, to just go all in on myself, not feel bad about it, not feel guilty about it, not owe anyone anything, was the absolute best feeling. So fast forward where we are now, we've done multiple seven figures. Last month, December, we had the best month that we've ever had on Amazon. We've both made more money than we did in our corporate jobs. And looking back on the calendar year, because we did just wrap up a year, obviously, we actually made more in our Amazon business than we would have made in our full-time jobs by a factor of 2 or 3, right? That's really like one full year of full-time commitment to the business, and the proof is in the pudding, right? The financial success there is already showing. So coming into this year, we want to at minimum double that. We want to be making really healthy salaries for us. We're onboarding a number of new employees that are coming into the business so that we can grow, right? We've gotten to a point where we need the help, we need the extra effort in the business to help take care of the day to day so that we can focus on the next level strategies. We can focus on doing more for our business. We can focus on working on the business instead of in the business to a certain extent. So that's what's becoming important to us. And now that we have a more and an excess of money that we actually need to live and survive, we're looking to grow really aggressively and really do this thing in a big way. Right. So that's the Amazon business. That's where we're at with things. And I'm so excited to share that with all of you. And I will absolutely, through this and other forms, keep you updated on what that looks like, how it's going, and ultimately where we go with it. And then the other side of things is just really talking about the education business. So I've brought on a number of personal mentees over the last couple of years that I've helped coach and bring into an area where they're making income, people making tens of thousands of dollars a month, as well as I joined another educational training program called Marketplace Superheroes. And we actually launched last year our wholesale version of their program. And so we incorporated what we're doing in our Amazon business, which is reselling brand name items through wholesale distribution and wholesale suppliers. We brought it to their audience and we pushed that out to my audience and other audiences as well. And so in that program, we've helped over 1,200 people get education and actually start their own Amazon businesses. So that's been incredibly impactful. It's been incredibly meaningful to me and is one of the things that I, again, think I was actually born to do. The amount of satisfaction that you get from helping someone change their financial position, actually transform their lives, and you can kind of see that happening in real time is second to none for other feelings that I've ever had. So selfishly, it's one of the most fun businesses and best businesses that I've ever been a part of. And the fact that I'm in the trenches, running the business, and then showing people how to do it, I think gives a really great angle, right? I'm a firm believer in people doing what they teach, right? Practice what you preach is a term that's always said, and I'm a firm believer of that. So I'm just incredibly grateful to be in the position where not only running the business, growing and scaling that, learning every single day through what goes on in that business, but also sharing that, documenting the journey for everyone and putting that out there for the world, but then really specifically impacting a number of people to come along on the journey and come for that ride as well. And so it's just been incredibly fun over this past year and a bit to see all this come together and really put in the work to get to a point where I can impact a bunch of people and continue to grow my own businesses as well. It's just been incredibly amazing. And so as we wrap this up, episode number 1 of the new show, I just want to give a huge thanks to everyone who's watching this show, right? I'm going to continually post these episodes. I'm not going to have like an exact cadence. We'll find one as we go along. As we put out more episodes, these are going to get more polished. They're going to get a lot better. We're going to have some amazing guests on in the future. I'm going to get some really high level entrepreneurs, some other people that are in the trenches with me, just going after it to talk about their businesses and what's been going on with them. For the next number of episodes, it's going to be me talking to you, sharing my story, sharing my journey. So if there's anything specific that you want to see, I would love to take suggestions on different show topics. pop them down in the comment section below. Let me know what types of things you want to see here on the show, whether it's more lifestyle, talking about my day-to-day life, my personal life. I like to travel quite a bit for work, mostly for work, also a little bit for fun. So just talking about travel, different places. I'm really passionate about credit and loans and things like that. I'm always happy to talk about those topics. And then obviously education, as well as running a physical e-commerce business, selling on Amazon. We're going to talk a lot about that in the show as well. So this is me signing off. Show episode number 1. I look forward to catching all of you in the future, connecting with all of you. As mentioned, drop down to the comment section. Let me know one topic that you would like to hear more about, whether I just said it in that list or not. Also, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Like this video if you could, so we can get this out to the most amount of people possible. It'd be amazing to bring in more members of this channel, this community to share the message with. But final words for me. Thank you so much. I look forward to chatting with you in the coming episodes.